This modification was so dangerous that the Pentagon tried to ban it. In 2011, Israeli engineers walked into a Pentagon meeting with a proposal that made America's top generals turn pale. They wanted to change the most expensive fighter jet ever built, the F-35, and rebuild it their way. U.S. officials said it was impossible, too risky, absolutely forbidden. But Israel went ahead anyway. And what they created left Iranian generals stunned, Russian defense experts speechless, and even America admitting it had been wrong. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the forbidden F-35 upgrade that broke every rule, changed warfare forever, and shifted the balance of power in the Middle East. The story begins with a problem no one thought could be solved. Iran's nuclear facilities sit 1,500 kilometers from Israel. A standard F-35 has only 100 kilometers of range on internal fuel. That shortfall made it impossible to reach Iranian targets without aerial refueling. But refueling meant slow, vulnerable tanker aircraft that Iranian missiles could easily destroy. Military planners around the world said it couldn't be done. Israel refused to accept that answer. Their solution shocked everyone: make the F-35 fly twice as far. The Pentagon dismissed the idea outright. American engineers warned that adding huge external fuel tanks would compromise stealth. They said it was engineering suicide. But Israeli defense officials insisted, and they had leverage. Back in 2003, Israel had signed a $20 million agreement that gave them unique rights in the F-35 program, rights even America's closest allies didn't have. That legal foothold let them demand modifications no other country could ask for. The negotiations were brutal. U.S. officials feared that approving Israeli upgrades would open the floodgates for dozens of other countries. The F-35 program already carried a staggering $1.7 trillion price tag. One wrong move could ruin the entire jet. But Israel didn't back down. They argued that unlike other nations, their survival depended on these aircraft. While allies bought F-35s for projection, Israel needed them to defend against existential threats. Finally, in July 2011, the Pentagon agreed, under the strictest conditions in the history of U.S. military aviation. Every Israeli change had to be approved by Lockheed Martin. Every system had to be tested and verified by American engineers. No exceptions. Israel accepted, and in 2012, Lockheed Martin received a contract unlike any other to help a foreign partner re-engineer America's most classified jet. What came next was unprecedented. Israel built the first F-35 capable of modular electronic warfare. They ripped out the standard American suite and replaced it with Elbit Systems technology designed to neutralize Russian S-300 and S-400 defenses. This system didn't just jam radars. It gathered intelligence across hundreds of kilometers, identified multiple threats, and neutralized them in real time. No other fighter in the world had that capability. But the real breakthrough came with fuel. Israeli engineers developed two solutions the Pentagon had called impossible. First, 425-gallon drop tanks that could be jettisoned along with their pylons. Attached, they gave the F-35 intercontinental reach. Dropped, the jet instantly regained stealth. Second, they built conformal fuel tanks fused into the fuselage, coated in radar-absorbing materials, invisible to enemy sensors. American designers said it could never work. Israel proved them wrong. These weren't just modifications. They were game-changing innovations. Conformal tanks didn't just extend range, they improved aerodynamics. The electronic warfare suite didn't just jam enemy radars. It turned the jet into a flying intelligence hub. And then came the most daring move of all. Israel rebuilt the mission computer into a plug-and-play system. That meant they could integrate new weapons or sensors without American approval. Pentagon officials were furious, but Israel now had the most adaptable fighter jet on Earth. The impact was immediate. Israeli F-35s could internally carry Python 5 air-to-air missiles and Spice precision-guided bombs, weapons tailored for Middle Eastern combat. Suddenly, the Israeli F-35 fleet wasn't just advanced, it was beyond American control. In May 2018, Israel proved it in combat. Their modified F-35 struck targets in Syria, making history as the first country ever to use the jet in war. Photographs soon circulated worldwide. Israeli F-35s flying openly over Beirut in daylight, invisible to Russian-made air defenses. Billions of dollars in missile systems had been rendered useless. Iranian generals couldn't believe it. Russian analysts had no explanation. For the first time, America admitted the forbidden upgrades worked better than its own systems. By 2022, Israel announced its F-35s could reach Iran without refueling. In June 2025, during Operation Rising Lion, Israeli jets flew 1,500 kilometers, struck multiple high-value targets deep in Iran, and returned without a scratch. Iranian media claimed they shot several down. Satellite imagery proved otherwise. Their defenses never even saw the aircraft. The strategic consequences are staggering. Iran's nuclear facilities are now permanently vulnerable. Russia's S-400 system, once marketed as the best in the world, is exposed as outdated, and the Pentagon, once opposed to every modification, has now reversed course. In 2026, the U.S. Air Force requested $432 million to develop similar fuel and electronic warfare systems. The forbidden upgrades they banned are now being copied. The industrial ripple effects are just as dramatic. Israeli companies are now indispensable to global F-35 production. Israel Aerospace Industries supplies wing components for every jet. Elbit provides pilot helmets worldwide. Lockheed Martin committed to $4 billion in Israeli contracts. What was once forbidden is now profitable. Performance numbers tell the rest. Israeli F-35s maintain an 85% mission readiness rate, far higher than American jets. They've flown over 15,000 combat hours with zero losses. The forbidden F-35 upgrade didn't just succeed, it set a new global standard. Today, Israel operates 36 of these aircraft with plans for 75 total. Each one embodies a lesson the Pentagon had to learn the hard way. Sometimes breaking the rules creates breakthroughs. The forbidden upgrade redefined stealth, range, adaptability, and global defense cooperation. And the consequences go beyond technology. The balance of power in the Middle East has shifted. Iran can no longer rely on distance or Russian defenses. Russia faces a crisis in military exports, and the U.S. has been forced to admit that allies can sometimes improve its weapons beyond what it thought possible. The forbidden F-35 upgrade changed how the world thinks about defense. It showed that survival demands innovation, even when the rules say no. And it proved that in modern warfare, those willing to take risks will always shape the future. If this exclusive story of military innovation shocked you, hit that like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments.